At the northern edge of Hilburn city there was a small street. Red brick houses stood close together, and the yellow streetlights always cast long shadows each late afternoon. Here lived a man named Jonathan Hale, 43 years old, the owner of a small watch repair shop. Jonathan was neither wealthy nor famous, but in the eyes of his neighbors he was so good, sometimes too good. Jonathan always opened his door to help anyone in need. If someone's watch broke, he repaired it cheaply. If someone was short on money, he allowed them to pay later. If someone brought their sadness to him, he listened with rare patience. Yet because of this, he was often taken advantage of, which made his younger sister Mira very worried. One day, Mira walked into the shop and saw Jonathan giving a repaired watch for free to a young man. The man took the watch and left without even saying thank you. Mira sighed. "You let them take advantage of you again." Jonathan just smiled. "It's not worth getting angry, Mira. Sometimes people just need a little kindness." Mira crossed her arms. "But they're not good to you. Everyone comes to take. No one gives back what they owe." Jonathan didn't answer. He just bent down and continued assembling the tiny gears of a watch. His eyes remained calm, like a still lake. One rainy afternoon, Jonathan saw a young boy, about 17, standing under the shop's awning. His clothes were soaked, and he held a tattered bag. Jonathan opened the door. "If you're cold, come inside and stay dry." The boy hesitated for a few seconds, then stepped in. His name was Leo. When Jonathan asked, he replied in a hoarse voice, I don't have a home. I've been sleeping at the bus station for days." Jonathan didn't ask further. He handed Leo a warm cup of tea and a piece of bread. "If you're hungry, just eat. Don't be shy." Leo ate eagerly. It was truly the first decent meal he had in days. When the rain stopped, he bowed and quickly left, as if afraid he might have to say thank you. The next day, Leo came back. Then the day after that. At first, he only stood outside, peeking in. After Jonathan spoke to him, he gradually stepped fully inside. Jonathan began teaching Leo how to dust watches, how to open a movement without damaging the pivots, and how to distinguish the even tick from the uneven tick of a gear. Leo learned very quickly. Sometimes Jonathan even gave him a small amount of money for food. When Mira visited and saw Leo sitting in the shop, she frowned. "You're inviting trouble again, aren't you?" Jonathan simply said, "The boy needs a place to lean on." Mira shook her head. "I just fear that one day, your kindness will cost you." Jonathan smiled gently. "Kindness only needs to be given, it doesn't need to be repaid. But fate has a way of teaching through very real blows." One weekend evening, when Jonathan closed the shop, he noticed the cash box had been tampered with. Over $300, his savings from many months, were gone. The only sign, the back door was slightly open and wet footprints ran outside. Jonathan sat down, thoughtful. He wasn't sad about losing the money, but he felt a familiar sting, the feeling of being hurt by his own kindness. Mira rushed over when she heard the news. She looked around and said immediately, "No need to guess. There's no one who comes in and out of your shop besides that boy. I told you from the start, Jonathan." Jonathan remained silent. He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Leo didn't come. The second day, still not. The third day, still no sign. Mira threw her gloves onto the table. "There! He took the money and ran. What are you waiting for? Call the police!" Jonathan sighed. He's still young, maybe desperate. "Are you protecting him to the point of making yourself suffer?" Jonathan looked out the window. The sky was gray, mirroring his mood. "Sometimes good people make mistakes, but to err out of goodness is better than to err out of malice," Mira cried, helpless. "You're too blind with kindness, Jonathan." A week later, Jonathan was adjusting the spring of a wall clock when the shop door opened. Leo was standing there, but he was not as before, bruised face, bandaged hands, and extremely thin. Jonathan put down his tools. "Leo!" He bowed his head, voice trembling. I'm sorry." "Were you the one who took the money?" Jonathan asked. Leo cried. He knelt on the cold floor tiles. "Yes, I took it. I thought no one would believe me, so I ran. I used the money to pay off the bad guys at the bus station, but they still beat me. I was foolish." Jonathan was not angry. He only felt pain, not for the money, but for seeing Leo carry the weight of his own wounds. He stepped forward and helped Leo stand. "You came back, that's enough." Leo looked at him, eyes red. You don't hate me. I betrayed your kindness. Jonathan shook his head. You are just a child. Children make mistakes, but what few people do is come back to make things right. Leo lowered his head, tears streaming. If you hadn't turned me away, I'd want to stay. I want to be good, like you. Jonathan placed a hand on his shoulder. You don't need to be like me. Just be better than you were yesterday. Mira stood at the door. She silently watched, tears falling quietly. She realized that even if kindness is sometimes betrayed, a truly kind person will not lose their essence because of a wound. Time passed. Leo learned the craft seriously. He worked hard, rarely taking a day off. Jonathan taught him everything, from handling antique movements to making customers feel valued. A year later, Leo repaired the shop's most difficult clock, the pendulum clock that Jonathan had always handled himself. Jonathan smiled. Very good. Leo bowed. Thanks to you, sir. Jonathan shook his head. Thanks to you. I only showed the way. You took the steps yourself. Mira watched them from afar. For the first time in many years, she felt less worried. She saw that sometimes kindness does not need immediate repayment. It is like a seed. Sometimes trampled, sometimes buried in darkness, but if planted in the right place, it will grow. And Leo was that seed.